Well, you did some pushing of your own, John.
They drew first blood, not me.
There are action movies, and then there's First Blood. This wasn't just another shoot-'em-up. It changed what action heroes could be. Before Rambo, heroes were invincible machines. After Rambo, they were broken, haunted, human. The film gave us the image everyone remembers. The long hair, the red headband, the silent stare, and a man pushed too far. It gave us one of the most iconic performances of the 1980s, and it turned Sylvester Stallone into something more than just Rocky. He became a symbol. But behind the muscles, the fancy knife, and the legendary man was a fragile movie. The actors didn't want it, the star almost walked away, people got hurt, and the character we thought we knew was hiding secrets most fans still don't realize. These are 20 secrets hidden inside First Blood for decades, and the first one completely changes everything you think you know about Rambo. Number 1, Rambo doesn't kill a single person in First Blood. Rambo, the man famous for mowing down entire armies, doesn't actually kill anyone in First Blood. Not one person. The only death occurred during the helicopter chase. A deputy named Galt leans out, trying to shoot Rambo. Rambo throws a rock, not at the man, not at his body, only toward the helicopter. The pilot panics, the helicopter jerks, Galt loses his balance. He falls. The death is ruled accidental. That detail is important. Rambo never came to that town looking for blood. He came looking for a friend, a place to belong. Every violent act that follows comes from survival, not aggression. He disables cars, he traps officers, he escapes. And strangely enough, that vulnerability almost looked very different. Number 2, Sylvester Stallone didn't even want to play Rambo. Today, Sylvester Stallone is Rambo. It's impossible to imagine anyone else now. But he almost walked away. When he first read the script, he thought Rambo was too dark and emotionally broken. He wasn't the kind of hero audiences were used to. Stallone even considered quitting the project entirely because he didn't think people would connect with someone so damaged. His instincts came from experience. He understood audience empathy. Rocky succeeded because people felt his heart. Rambo on paper barely showed his. But eventually, he saw something deeper. He realized this wasn't a superhero story. It was a story about pain. But even after finally agreeing to become Rambo, Stallone still wasn't convinced he made the right decision. Number 3, Sylvester Stallone tried to destroy First Blood after watching it. When Sylvester Stallone saw the first cut of First Blood, he thought his career was over. The original version was nearly 3 hours long.
Originally, it was 3 hours long. I stayed an hour and a half in the woods chasing guys.
The pacing was messing, and the dialogue was embarrassing. Stallone hated his performance so much that he and his manager tried to buy the film negatives from the studio, just so he could burn them and make sure no one ever saw it. He believed Rambo was a career killer. But instead, he convinced the studio to cut massive portions out, removing long stretches of dialogue and tightening the story into something leaner and more emotional. So it became 90 minutes of precision and less yapping. That decision saved Rambo. But did you know Stallone wasn't the only Hollywood legend who saw Rambo and walked away? Number 4, Al Pacino rejected Rambo for a wild reason. Did you know that Al Pacino was offered the role of John Rambo? He turned it down without hesitation. Not because it was too violent, but because he didn't think Rambo was crazy enough. Pacino wanted the character to feel more unstable, more unpredictable. He didn't see enough madness on that page. He was coming off films like Scarface, so his interpretation leaned toward chaos. First Blood required restraint. Pacino didn't see it. Ironically, that restraint became the entire point. But the truth is, Rambo's emotional scars didn't come from nowhere. They came from real life. Number 5, Rambo was based on a real war hero. The character was partly inspired by real veterans, especially men like Audie Murphy. Murphy was one of the most decorated soldiers in American history. He survived horrors most people couldn't imagine and returned home a hero. But he also returned home broken. Murphy suffered from severe PTSD. He slept with a gun under his pillow. He struggled with nightmares. He felt disconnected from civilian life. His country celebrated his bravery, but his mind never escaped the battlefield. Just like Rambo, First Blood wasn't really about action. It was about what happens after the war ends. Even the character's name carried a hidden meaning most people missed. Number 6, Rambo was named after an apple and a poet. The name Rambo sounds aggressive, violent, dangerous. Well, not really. It actually came from two hard-to-believe places: a tasty apple and a beloved poet. While writing the book, the author David Morrell was struggling with what to name his main character. One day, he had an apple as a snack. According to Morrell, "I took a bite of the apple and discovered that it was in fact delicious." He asked his wife what the apple was called, and she said Rambo. That was all it took. It also reminded him of the way some people pronounce the name Rimbaud, a French poet he had been studying. Rimbaud's most famous work is A Season in Hell, which he felt was an accurate metaphor for Rambo's prisoner of war experiences. So Rambo was named after the Rambouillet apple and Arthur Rimbaud, a French poet. What a combination! But it fit perfectly, because Rambo was both things, hard and sensitive, and Stallone was determined to physically transform himself into that contradiction. Number 7. Stallone's insane workout to become Rambo. Stallone approached Rambo differently from Rocky. Rocky was a fighter, his body looked powerful. Rambo was a survivor. His body needed to look functional. So Stallone built him. He began with a 2 to 3 hour morning workout. Then he'd move on to the 10 to 12 hour shooting day on the movie. After that, instead of going home like the rest of the cast and crew, he'd cap off the day with another 2 to 3 hour workout. After 6 hours of sleep or so, he'd be up and ready to do it again. And he did this throughout the series. He needed to look like someone who lived off the land, someone who could survive alone. Beyond his body, he needed one more tool to prove himself. Number 8. Rambo's knife was custom built for war. Rambo's knife has got to be one of the coolest set weapons of the century. And it wasn't a prop, it was real. The blade served multiple survival purposes. The hollow handle stored matches, fishing hooks, and emergency supplies. The compass attached to the base also allowed navigation. Everything about Rambo was built to survive, including the Hope town he fought in. Except it wasn't actually Washington. Number 9. First Blood was filmed in Canada. Not the United States. Everything about First Blood feels unmistakably American. The sheriff's department, the forests, the mountains, the quiet hostility of a small US town. Except it wasn't filmed in America. It was filmed in Fraser Valley, British Columbia, Canada. This quiet logging town was completely transformed into Hope, Washington, the fictional setting of the film. The production didn't rely on studio backlots. They used real streets, real buildings, and real people. That Canadian wilderness didn't just serve as a backdrop. It provided Rambo his most treasured prop. Number 10. Rambo's makeshift coat was made from a piece of rotten canvas. One of the most haunting moments in First Blood comes when John Rambo disappears into the forest and re-emerges wearing a torn primitive coat. It looks so designed. It wasn't. The coat was a piece of fabric the crew randomly found in the woods while filming in Canada. There was only one piece. No replacements, no prop duplicates. Sylvester Stallone cut it and wore it himself during filming, turning literal garbage into one of the most iconic visual transformations in movie history. He loved it so much that after production wrapped, he kept it. Decades later, he still owns it. Some of the violence on set was also improvised, a little too well. Number 11. Stallone actually broke an actor's nose filming Rambo. During the jail escape scene, Stallone accidentally elbowed actor Alf Humphreys, who played Lester, in the face. He actually broke his nose and had to wear a band-aid throughout First Blood. Ironically, Rambo actually broke a policeman's nose in the novel during the exact same scene. Humphreys definitely didn't find the coincidence cool, but you get it. Well, the injury was written into the movie. The pain became part of the story. And the realism didn't stop there, because many of the people on screen weren't actors at all. Number 12. Unemployed locals became the cast. The town of Hope, British Columbia, served as the fictional setting for First Blood. At the time, the community was struggling. A local mill had recently shut down. Jobs disappeared overnight. People needed work, and First Blood gave it to them. They weren't pretending to be frustrated citizens. They were frustrated citizens, and that authenticity made the town feel real. But one character almost felt very different. Number 13. Kirk Douglas was supposed to be Trotman. Kirk Douglas was originally cast as Colonel Trotman. Douglas wasn't simply famous, he was legendary. His presence would have added authority to the character immediately. But he left the project. He pushed for an ending where Trotman would kill Rambo himself. He believed it would deliver stronger emotional impact. The filmmakers refused. They believed Rambo needed to live. So Douglas walked away and Richard Crenna stepped in. Did you know that Troutman has always been deeper than you think? Number 14. Troutman's name secretly references Uncle Sam. Colonel Sam Troutman was a symbol. His name was inspired by Uncle Sam, representing the government that created Rambo and then abandoned him. He wasn't just talking to a soldier. He was confronting his own creation. The government may have given Rambo his purpose, but the wilderness gave him his image. Number 15. Rambo's red headband was a last-minute genius. You can't think of Rambo without picturing that bright red headband, but it almost didn't exist. In fact, it was not even in the novel. It was added during production as a simple way to make the character visually stand out against the forest. Nothing in the original script mentioned it. That tiny strip of cloth became a symbol of Rambo's transformation from broken veteran to survival machine, visually marking him as someone the town and the audience would never forget. The stunts left jaws on the floor, and the scenes? Stallone made sure his pay matched the spectacle. Number 16. Stallone negotiated $3.5 million for his role. Sylvester Stallone asked for $3.5 million for First Blood. Producers Mario Kassar and Andrew said he could have $2 million. Nope, that wasn't all he got paid. He got his $1.5 million. It came from television sales, because Rambo wasn't just a role, he was a franchise in the making. Behind the stunts and paychecks, the story had layers even the cameras never saw. Number 17, the novel reveals Teasel's dark jealousy. In the book, Sheriff Teasel hated Rambo for a personal reason. He was a veteran too, but his war, Korea, had been forgotten. Rambo's war, Vietnam, hadn't. Teasel wasn't just angry, he was jealous, but the film never explores it. That buried resentment almost pushed the movie toward an even darker conclusion. Number 18, Rambo originally died at the end of First Blood. Kirk Douglas's desire to kill Rambo wasn't so far-fetched. In the first book, Rambo actually does die, in the hands of Troutman. So in early production, the script already planned his execution. One version showed Rambo begging Colonel Troutman to shoot him, unable to live with his trauma. Another version followed the original novel. It wasn't just written, it was filmed. The test audience didn't like it, so Rambo survived. Now keeping Rambo alive, finishing the film under intense pressure to make his story work. Number 19, First Blood was filmed in just 42 days. For a film of this scale, the timeline was shockingly short. First Blood was filmed in just 42 days. That gave the cast and crew only 6 weeks to capture everything. The mountain chases, helicopter pursuit, jail escape, explosions, and an unforgettable emotional breakdown at the end. The pressure created something rare. That exhausting 6-week shoot pushed everyone to their limits, especially Stallone. Number 10, Stallone's emotional breakdown was completely real. During the last scene when John Rambo collapses in Colonel Troutman's arms and talks about his friend dying in Vietnam, Sylvester Stallone lost control for real. His shaking, his voice cracking, the tears, none of it was forced. Stallone later admitted he connected deeply with Rambo's pain, especially the feeling of being rejected and misunderstood. The crew stayed silent while filming. No one interrupted him. The scene didn't just end the movie, it defined the character forever. And that's our 20 hidden secrets on Rambo First Blood. The movie didn't become iconic because of explosions, it became iconic because of the truth. Because underneath the action was a broken man trying to survive. And almost 50 years later, we still remember him. If you want to see what happens when another warrior is built, used, and betrayed by the very system that created him, check out our video on RoboCop 1987, 20 shocking facts you didn't know. Just like First Blood showed how Rambo fought a war for his country, only to come home and be treated like the enemy, RoboCop tells the story of Alex Murphy, a cop brutally gunned down and rebuilt as a machine, owned by a corporation that sees him as property, not a person. 2 different battlefields, 2 men turned into weapons, and 2 explosive 80s classics. Don't forget to like this video and tell us your favorite Rambo film. Now remember, nothing is over. Nothing. You just don't turn it off.
Nothing is over! Nothing! You just don't turn it off!
See you in the next one.